Unity of the Huachucas presents Susan Smith, LUT.
It's a friendly universe after all.
Okay, so just go ahead if you'd like. Just close your eyes if it's comfortable for you, or just loosen your gaze and just relax. And we'll just set the stage for this morning. And right now, I consecrate this time and space as sacred. It's a time apart from the world of form, the world of things that change. This is a time to remember the eternal, to remember the timeless, to know truth which lies within all and is within all things. The one power, one presence we call God is ever present, ever near. It is love, it is harmony. It is in the birds singing and voices raised in song, in shared laughter and in shared tears. It is in all, it is all. Each one of us is an expression of that which we call God. Each one of us is a perfect divine human, and we share oneness with one another that cannot be broken no matter what is happening in the outer. Right now, I know that we can let go of thoughts, ideas, and beliefs that keep us separate from one another in any way, that keep us separate from our own wholeness, that keep us separate from being the love, which is what we came here to be and express. I know that each of us knows what is ours to do in order to feel, know, and show the love and unity with everyone, which is our birthright. I am thankful for this time in the prayer field, this time to focus our attention and to listen to our hearts in remembrance of the unity and oneness that we share with each other and everyone. And so it is. Amen. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
I'm Susan Smith. I'm a licensed uni teacher. I live in Tucson. And it's good to be here with y'all. So, I love this. Thank you. This is just, so it's a friendly universe after all is the title of my talk. And you know, when I come here and I'm with you all and we're singing songs and we're greeting and we're laughing and we're praying, you know, I feel it. Don't you? It's kind of easy here. Yeah. And we need those little places where it's easier to feel that. So I'm grateful. And I was really lucky. I've come to realize that I know that I had a very privileged childhood. I had both my parents, I had my two sisters, I had a lot of unconditional love. You know, it just goes on and on and on to privilege. But I have to say, one of the main things that I had in privilege was that we were offered the opportunity to think for ourselves and encouraged to do that. And we were allowed to have a difference of opinions with our parents. We had different opinions with each other. We could change, evolve, we debated, we would have these lively discussions. We were all very passionate about what was going on in the world, what the policies were, what did we think, what was going on, you know. It was very exciting, but it was done in a very loving way, you know, and we would kid and lots of humor in my house. I have to say that was something else. We just kind of laughed at each other sometimes. But I was so privileged, and that gave me an opportunity because right now, there's so much divisiveness, right? The messages we hear, the othering, no matter what you think, especially like on the political spectrum because of our current circumstances, but wherever you're at, there's an other, and they're an enemy, and there's wars, there's so much happening, and I was just so lucky to have this upbringing that we could have differences of opinions and yet know we had the same values. And you know, that value, the main value, we were unchurched, but the value my parents taught us was they taught us the golden rule. You know, and then when I'm talking about a friendly universe, I'm really talking about that golden rule. Living and knowing and just expressing that as best I can, do unto others as they would do unto you. And I really learned that it's okay to have differences of opinions because my parents, every election day, oh, I'm going out to cancel your vote. Every single time. Every single time. So they had differences of opinions, but it was safe in our house to do that. And they thought of things the same. They had the same values. They had the same concerns. They cared about the world and their community, and they cared about equity and justice. They just saw a different way of doing it. What a gift that was to me, huh? And that we could change and evolve and learn. So I had a huge growth. So I'm going to say I'm kind of bent to this whole thing. It's a friendly universe after all. I'm sort of, it's sort of my thing, and I know it's not always what we see in the world. So my young adulthood was a little difficult because even though we were sheltered to some degree, we were exposed to lots of ideas. I had a kid, Carolyn Hurtigan. Can you remember that person from school that was really mean to you? Poor Carolyn Hurtigan. I feel, I forgive you, Carolyn. You were doing the best you could. But, I was not always treated well. I was different. But I still just had this idea, and I think it came from my family. And so my early adulthood was kind of tough. And then about 20 years ago, I walked into my first Unity Church. And this is where I heard this message, a message of oneness and connection, a message where we teach each and every one of us has inherent worth and value because each and every one of us is the expression of God, that which we call God, whatever you want to call that. That's what we teach here. And it's within me, it's within you. There's that Michael Jackson song from Captain EO, and it's, you're another part of me, you're just another part of me. That's what I think about, and I've always believed that, just in my core. And if I hurt you, I'm hurting myself somehow. Some people didn't get that message. Their conditioning, their conditions of their life, the way their brain really works, they didn't get that. So it's our job to kind of lift that up to them, right? It's our job. So this is the message today. I'm going to talk a little bit about the principle behind this idea. I'm going to talk a little bit about after all. Because after all means, right, sometimes it doesn't appear that way, right? That difficult Carolyn Hurtigans of the world. Oh, poor Carolyn. She's probably doing very well. She was a kid. I forgive her, but, she just came to mind today. But, people who don't understand that, haven't been taught it, for whatever reasons have been lost and don't understand love, they can make the world a really difficult place for the rest of us. Or they use their values of love, their values of their family, their values of their community, and they say, this is my tribe, and I'm going to protect it, and everyone else is other. And it's the same like values, really, right? But they're putting a boundary where there really aren't any. There really aren't any when we talk about timelessness. And that's what we're talking about as far as spirituality. We're talking about timelessness. Not the temporal, things change, but in timelessness. And when we can ground that on us, we can know and be and show more and more it's a friendly universe. I just love this picture. I'm so enthralled. I keep looking back. I'm like, why does she keep doing that? So what do I mean by, I think I've already kind of explained it, but the general principle is, when I went to that first Unity, it was Unity of Phoenix about 20 years ago, I walked in and I was listening. And I'm like, oh, this is where I'm supposed to be, right? And I love that theme of listen. It's paying attention. I didn't really understand everything, but I listened with my heart. And my heart told me, yes, these are your people. This is your tribe. And this is a place where you can practice this so you can go out into the greater world where people don't understand when you're talking about like this. And practice and do it with everyone. And I remember, so the service, I didn't understand it, but I'm home. I had quite an emotional reaction. We did the circle song, and it was a Sunday service that was different. And the last song we sang was Lean on Me. Lean on Me. And I'm like, okay, I'm in, I'm here. That's really what we're talking about. So what do we teach in Unity? And we talked about the 5 principles is really that second principle I want to focus on tonight. And it is, this is the children's version. I am naturally good. Is there a little reverb? No? Yeah, I am naturally good because God's divinity is in me and in everyone. I am naturally good because God's divinity is in me and in everyone. Everyone has inherent value and worth. And that is one of our fundamental teachings. It's a practice. We have to practice it towards ourselves. We don't always recognize this. We've gotten all sorts of conditioning and messages, right, that that come back. Well, what about this? No. Okay, calm down. It's a practice. That's why we come here together and practice together. But it's also in everyone else. And if we really worked to know that and see that and show that, then we're going to have that, we're going to see and know and live in a more friendly universe. That's what I'm talking about. This is how Reverend Imelda Shanklin wrote it. And she was a Unity minister. She worked with the co-founders, Charles and Fillmore. She was the editor of their publishing. So she was very well known to them. She wrote a great book called What Are You? If you like Unity classics, I highly recommend it. And this is a quote, and I love it. And I'm going to share it with you because I believe this is the nuts and bolts of what I'm talking about. The essence of non-resistance is unity. You are not isolated from the rest of the universe. You're not isolated. You are an indispensable part of the universe, and as such, the universe loves, protects, and cherishes you. You're loved, protected, and cherished. Imagine that. In so caring for you, the universe is self-preserving. You are safe. You are inconceivably valuable. You're needed. Inconceivably valuable. Nothing opposes you. You are in the midst of friends. That's what I'm talking about here. It's grounding in that principle, grounding in that oneness, grounding yourself in wholeness, and then seeing that in the world around you. And I'm especially focusing on people today and how we interact with one another. But the grounding in the principle is the all. Okay, so that's the trees, that's the birds, that's everything. Because you're all a part of that too. So that's it. Now, I don't know if you noticed, it kind of sounds like a song. Do you think it sounds like a song? Because it is. Yes, I have a song parody for you. It's not really a song parody, it's kind of a song. So, you know, it's a small world after all. It is a small world. I think many of you have heard it.
Thank you, the earworm.
I know. I am going to give you an earworm, and I think it's okay, because I think this is a good thing for you to have in your hair. So, sorry, not sorry? Okay. All right, so this is my addition, and this is what I mean when I'm talking about this. It's a friendly universe after all. It's a world of connection, a world of oneness. It's a world of similarities and a world of love. The golden rule shared by so many lights the path for us to remember. It's a friendly universe after all. 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 It's a friendly universe. Okay. There are stories to share and hearts to listen. We know we are one when we listen with love. Though we are different in form and our difference may seem vast, it's a friendly universe after all. One more time. It's a friendly universe after all. It's a friendly universe after all. It's a friendly universe after all. It's a friendly universe. Oh, you guys sound good. I didn't know you were going to sing along with me. I love it. That was just a delight. So, when I had this wonderful background, everything. So, and I was exposed to the world, but when I really went outside of my family bubble, it was a little difficult for me. We were the type of family, if there was one cookie left, no one was going to eat it. You know, that was the kind of family I came from. And we all supported and loved each other. That cookie, it was not going to get eaten. And you know what happens to cookies out in the world? People grab the last cookie, they hide the cookies, they might take the cookie from you. Shoot, they might throw the cookie at you and hurt you, you know, metaphorically, right? It was a bit of a shock for me to go into the world and try to figure this out. And that's kind of the after all piece. And I want to talk about the after all. Because you have, and you will, all of us will encounter people that are very disconnected from their oneness. They're very disconnected, and whatever part of it is within you, right? Because we're all practicing and learning. I'm not saying I got this all figured out. Whatever that is within ourselves. So we're not always acting in a friendly way towards each other. We're not always remembering to see the true divine nature of other people. That's just what we're here to learn and grow. That's what I believe. So so in Unity, we don't want to take the spiritual bypass and go, oh, it's a friendly universe after all. Forget that. We're here to be divine humans. 100% divine, 100% human. So that means it is our job to stand up for justice. It is our job to speak up if we see something happening that we find is inappropriate. We can see the people who are doing these things, in a loving way. And guess what? We can love people and not necessarily like them. But we can love the true part of who they are. That part of them that is broken and has lost their connection. I mean, nothing breaks my heart more than when I see someone and I think, my goodness, I don't think this person knows love. I don't think this person knows love. Because if they did, they just wouldn't treat other people that way. And there's a hole, just they're filling and they're filling and they're filling. So we set our boundaries when we need to. We speak up when we need to. We don't pretend everything's great. But what we do is we get to choose to how we interact with what's happening. We get to choose how we listen, how we hear, how we perceive what's going on. We get that choice. And it might not be the first choice we make. It might be a reaction that we make. But then we can always go back and go, oh, well, maybe I could see this differently. I could see Carolyn Hurtigan differently now. You know, I really can. I don't know why. Maybe someday I'll just forget her name. Maybe she's listening. Who knows? Hello, Carolyn. I forgive you. It's okay. So that's what I just want to remind people about that. Is this on? Is this on?
I can turn it on.
No, I feel like there's a reverb. It's okay. I'll just come up
No,
here.
it's muted.
It's okay. No worries. Sorry about the
I heard
distraction.
something though like that.
Yeah, I thought I heard a reverb. It's usually there's another mic on. I'm up here. Oh, good. We'll just let go. Let it go. Let it go. Let it go. Okay. So this is a quote from Eric Butterworth. He says, can't always control what is happening to us, but we can control what we think about what happens, and what we are thinking is our life at any particular moment. I'll say it again. We can't control what happens to us. Things happen in the world. You know, I personally would like to see us all be less divisive and figure out a way to get along like my parents did. I'm going to go check out your boat, and we kind of laugh at it. And they were passionate and they cared, and it was important to them. But they knew at the bottom of it all is we're all just trying to do the best we can. And we truly are doing the best we can based on the conditions and the conditioning we find ourselves in. Always. Always true. Always true. So I wish we could do that, but this is where we're at. Can't control that. I don't have a magic wand, you guys. I wish I did. But we can control what we think about what happens. And what we are thinking is our life at that particular moment. So that's what we're talking about. Listening, paying attention with the lens. How do I do that? So that's the question. How do you do it? How do you do that? Well, there's three things I want to talk about. First of all, you kind of got this big old start here button. Kind of imagine on your chest, like start here. First, you have to know it. You got to know this for yourself, and that takes practice. Practice in the way of meditation, practice in the way of prayer, practice in maybe affirmations, whatever, maybe walking out in nature and feeling it and knowing it. Whatever that looks like for you. There's so many different ways. But do something, fill yourself up. The golden rule is do unto others as they would do unto others as you would have them do unto you. You got to start with here. And know you're deserving and value, and then know that power and that strength and that you got it all. You know, Eric Butterworth, that quote I had is, the true self of you, the Christ, spiritual man, is the individuation of God. You are God at the point where you are. You are God at the point where you are. That can feel a bit overwhelming. But all of us are in this together. We're all doing it together. Everyone. But you get to practice on yourself. So meditation is the first thing. Really allowing yourself to dig in and focus on that. And I'm just going to lead us in a short meditation. I'm doing sort of a brief loving kindness meditation. And I won't do this too long, but it'll just kind of give you a feeling for it. Because loving kindness is just that opportunity of really washing love within yourself. That friendliness, that kindness, that knowing the truth. And it's also a way of just really radiating it out to others so that we're creating that friendly world. Okay, so if it's comfortable for you, I'm going to encourage you to just go ahead and close your eyes. If not, just, soften your gaze. Make yourself as comfortable as possible. Whatever thoughts, lists, anything on your mind, just mentally just kind of put them aside. You're in a safe place. And I'm going to read a script I got here. Imagine a dearly loved person sitting opposite you, and then a white light connects your heart to heart. Connect with the feelings of affection and warmth you have for them. Enjoy the feelings as they fill your body. Next, slowly focus on the phrase, may I be well, happy, and peaceful. Feeling the warmth of loving kindness fill your body. And send these feelings to your friend. May you be well, happy, and peaceful. Breathing naturally as the light connects you heart to heart. May I be well, happy, and peaceful. May you be well, happy, and peaceful. Feel yourself bathed in the warmth and light of loving kindness while repeating these phrases. I'll repeat them, just say it silently. May I be well, happy, and peaceful. May you be well, happy, and peaceful. May I be well, happy, and peaceful. May you be well, happy, and peaceful. Remember to breathe naturally as the white light connects you both, heart to heart, and continue. May I be well, happy, and peaceful. May you be well, happy, and peaceful. Next, remembering to breathe naturally, imagine the white light between you becoming a circle of light around you both. The light is bathing you in the warmth and peace of loving kindness that you radiate out to your surroundings, including all beings, from the smallest insect to the largest animal, and out into the universe. See yourself and your friend radiating a light of loving kindness out into infinity. May we be well, happy, and peaceful. May all beings be well, happy, and peaceful. Breathing naturally, repeat these phrases silently. May we be well, happy, and peaceful. May all beings be well, happy, and peaceful. Now enjoy the feelings of warmth and expansion in your body. Recognize the feelings that flow from your heart out into the universe and the universal friendliness reflected in your own heart. May we be well, happy, and peaceful. May all beings be well, happy, and peaceful. As you continue to bathe in the warmth of loving kindness, turn your attention to your body and notice your feelings and sensations. Notice what is observing your body and recognize that awareness. A peaceful, still part of you that witnesses everything without judgment. Breathe naturally and slowly open your eyes. That was just a brief loving kindness, which is one of my favorite. If you're not familiar with them, you can find tons of them. This was from Joe Nash, PhD, and I got it online, so I can't remember the reference. So that feels good, right? And that's where you got to start. You got to start with that. So start with that. Start with that, and then you're grounding yourself. And I think this is something. There's a audio loving kindness that I'm going to try and do the next few months, every day, because I really feel like I could use it right now. And I think the world could use it. So that's just a tool. Whatever, you could walk and say these things. Find the words that work for you. That's what I love about unity. You know, what I love about unity is we talk about our connection, we talk about our oneness, but our individuality is also so important. Just like in my family, we were allowed to express ourselves. We're allowed to grow. We're allowed to change. We're allowed to just make up your own mind. And then maybe change. You know, Unity co-founder Charles Fillmore is famous for saying, I reserve the right to change my mind. And that's the same for all of us. You can hear something today and go, I think that, I agree with that. You can hear something else and go, oh, not so much for me. It's fine. Who knows what I'll be saying in a year? That's just fine. That's fine. And I love that. I love that. So that's the first thing. Start here. Kind of start here, but do that as much as you can. It's called a practice, and we're all different, and we all have different ways of doing it. That was a tool I wanted to share because I think it's really useful for this type of thing. But whatever works for you. Whatever works for you, but do something. Just practice it. A minute a day even. Maybe something you read. Whatever that looks like. So that's the first thing. The second thing is to pay attention and listen to messages that are telling you it's a friendly universe after all. The first thing you have to do here, though, is to mitigate those messages of divisiveness. And I'm not going to talk about politics. I do your civic duty. That's all I'm going to say. But I'm going to tell you that these messages of divisiveness, which are coming at us from all different angles, all ways, anything that's telling you they're other, yeah, they're other. You know, I do not like cilantro, all right? And some people really don't like that I don't like cilantro. I don't know if anyone else in here doesn't like, but you would experience it. Well, what do you mean you don't like cilantro? You're another. Don't hate me because I don't like cilantro. That's all I'm going to say. But, we other people all the time in funny little ways that are insignificant. But we other people, be careful about othering. Be careful of the messages you're receiving. What can you do? If you're here, if you're watching right now, if you watch TVs with ads or listen to radio, you're going to hear things. So, okay, I'm going to turn down the volume. I'm going to go use the restroom. I'm going to listen to this and recognize that this is a message for people that are like me, who love their family, who are afraid for whatever reason, because we're all just taught some messages to be afraid. And they care about the world just like I do. They just think about it differently if it's an oppositional message. And if it's a message that you kind of agree with, well, but you know what? They're not so, but they're like me too. The golden rule is common in almost all religions. And I found this article on medium.com website, and it says the golden rule, a simple common morality across all religions. And this is just to remind you how alike we are. So here's some examples I said. This is from Islam. The Prophet Muhammad said, "None of you truly believes until he loves his brother that which he loves for himself." Here's Judaism. "That which is despicable to you, do not do to your fellow. This is the whole Torah, and the rest is commentary. Go and learn it." The rest is commentary. Wow, powerful. And then here is one from Hinduism. "One should not behave toward others in a way which is disagreeable to oneself." We have this thread of commonality within religions, within movements. But othering is dangerous, and we do need to be careful of that. And some people do not have our best intentions at heart, and because they just have glammed onto other values and are not understanding. I believe we're just all here learning how to do the golden rule together. That's what I believe. And I do believe in applying my civic duty and doing my best and doing my research. And what I do is I just look to organizations that I support their work. I go, okay, you endorse so-and-so? Okay, that's enough for me. I really try to just, all the propaganda, I just try to dull it. So that's something. So first you got to do that. Whatever that is in your life, whatever that, and it might be a person. It might be somebody in your life. So figure out a way to respond. Maybe find yourself a place of loving kindness while they're talking. Whatever that looks like. So first you got to work on listening with your heart and finding the commonality and trying to dim the divisiveness. Whatever that, and I don't know. That's going to be, but there's lots of things you can do, so think about it. The second thing is to look for ways in which you find it's a friendly universe at all. I love that we can be in community together. This is a good thing for us to be together and bolster each other up and encourage each other. Find like-minded people. That's great. I think we need that. But we also need to go out into the world where people don't understand us as well. And there's where we go to a concert. I've been to a concert. I went to a Garth Brooks concert once, and literally they were doing, this was right when he was like at the height of his fame, and they were doing the wave. There was a wave in America West Arena. This is how long ago this was. They were doing a wave before the concert started. I mean, people were so excited to see Garth Brooks. We were waving. It was really fun. But we weren't all thinking the same. We don't all agree. Of course not. So, concert, sports. I think we were just talking about it, Kathy. Sporting events can be that. Laughter. Something we can find laughter. Gardening. Book you love. Animals. Where is that common ground? Anytime we can establish that with other people, then we can really start to get to know their heart, and we can listen to them with our heart and listen with that connection. And just share, well, this is, I see the divine in all. I see worth and value in everyone. Use the language they're going to hear the most. But we're not here to proselytize. That's not what we do. But we try to take a stand and treat others the way we believe. And that's how I understand unity. Anyway, that's how I believe. So, like I said, you get to figure it out for yourself. So those are some things you can do. The other thing I would encourage you is just to not create monoliths. Othering happens a lot when we create, so what I mean is, like, I work for Tucson Unified School District. So people will say, the district. The district. What is that? The government. Big pharma. Well, it's made up of people. It's really made up of people. And the district, yes, there is a bureaucracy. It's big. There are traditions and a culture there. But you know what? I think about the teacher I helped last week. I think about me and what I can do to make a difference. And that's true for all of us. This is a participatory government in the sense that we go out and we're able to vote and participate. The government is us. I'm not saying there aren't issues. I'm not, like I said, back to the, after all. But try to, when you hear yourself saying that, what am I really saying? Who is that other? Who is that district? Who is that? I've confronted that. We have this ordering team at work, and there was just a lot of mistakes, and it's been causing a lot of issues for me and the people I work with, and it's like them. I'm like, who are them? Who is that? And then one person, I put this order, I'm like, okay, now I have a face, and I love you, and I know your intentions are good. So that helps me. So I'm like, oh, them. That only included us, them. So watch the othering in the them language, the monoliths. That's another thing. Connecting through art, sports, like I said that. And I'm just going to close with a couple stories. So there was one story I just thought was so beautiful about finding similarities. And it's a story about Ireland and Choctaw Indian tribes. So during the relationship got really established between the Choctaw Indian tribe from Oklahoma and Ireland, a group in Ireland in 1847 during the potato famine. Mm-hmm. And in 1847, during the potato famine, the Choctaw Indians heard how hard the people were having it in this town in Ireland. And they raised what is now today $5,000, which was an incredible sum for them, right after they just come off the Trail of Tears and had been displaced themselves. And they gave this people in Ireland $5,000 to help them. And then fast forward into, like the mid-1990s, the Irish people are like, the president's like, oh, we need to keep up this friendship. We didn't really know who these people were. We didn't know the hardship they were going through and what they were trying to figure out. So they maintained their friendship. And then in 2018, Ireland started a scholarship fund for Choctaw Indian residents, and they come over to Ireland and they have scholarships there. And then in 2020, the people in Ireland donated to the Navajo and Hopi tribes when they were going through such hard times during the pandemic. Mm-hmm. Talk about oneness. Talk about connection that you would never see. Look for those things. I saw this and it spiked my interest because I thought, wow, that's an incredible story. And not only is it incredible when it happened originally, but the ongoing story and connection is incredible. And then the last thing I want to talk about is just a little bit about that idea of like going to a concert and sharing music. And there's a great, some of you might have seen this video or not, there's a great video available on YouTube. And it's about a group of people, there were 3,000 people, they gathered in Haifa in Israel, which is the third largest city in Israel. They gathered for 1 hour before they recorded this song together. They learned it in 3 different languages, these 3,000 people. They learned it in English, they learned it in Arabic, and they learned it in Hebrew. And these were people from all of these different groups, right, associating. And they learned this song, and the song was One Day, and it's an anthem for connection and oneness and unity and for peace. They learned this song together in 1 hour, and then they recorded it. And it's just one of the most beautiful things you'll ever see. And these are the words of the song. It's called One Day. Sometimes I lay under the moon and thank God I'm breathing. Then I pray, don't take me soon, because I'm here for a reason. Not familiar? Sometimes in my tears I drown, but I never let it get me down. So when negativity surrounds, I know someday it'll all turn around, because all my life I've been waiting for, I've been praying for the people to say that we don't want to fight no more, there'll be no more wars, and our children will play. One day, one day, one day, one day. And at points they're singing in the different languages. One day, one day, one day, one day. Challenge. Work together, getting along better in this together. All my life I've been waiting for, I've been praying for the people to say that we don't want to fight no more. There'll be no more wars, and our children will play. Oneness. It's there. If we can do that, those people can gather who have had centuries of division between them. It's a friendly universe after all. So I'm encouraging you all this week to just know it's a friendly universe. Look and see that it's a friendly universe. And then finally, do your part. Listen, what is it for you to do? What is in your heart to do to show that it is? It is a friendly universe after all. It's a friendly universe after all.